What if I told you that burnout doesn't always look like the way you imagine? It's not always collapsing at your desk, or breaking down in tears at work, or staying in bed for days. In fact, the truth about emotional burnout is much quieter, much subtler, and far more dangerous. Burnout hides. It hides behind your morning smile, your "I'm fine" responses, your endless to-do lists, and even your fake enthusiasm. It doesn't scream, it whispers. And if you don't pay attention, those whispers eventually take everything from you. So, let me ask you something. How many times have you said to yourself, "I'm just tired. I just need to push a little harder. I just need one more weekend to catch up"? But what if that exhaustion you keep brushing off isn't just tiredness? What if it's emotional burnout creeping in, disguised as normal stress? Stay with me, because in this video, we're going to uncover the hidden signs of emotional burnout, the ones you might already be living with but haven't recognized yet. And I promise you, once you see them, you'll never look at your daily exhaustion the same way again. Here's the first truth. Burnout doesn't always feel like being overwhelmed. Sometimes, it feels like nothing at all. That's the scary part. One of the earliest hidden signs of emotional burnout is numbness. You stop feeling joy when something good happens. You stop feeling sadness when something bad happens. Everything just feels flat. Like life has been put through a filter and all the colors have drained out. Maybe you laugh at a joke, but you don't really feel it. Maybe you watch the sunset, but it doesn't move you anymore. That's not just being tired. That's your emotional system shutting down to protect itself. You tell yourself, "I'm fine, I'm functioning, I'm getting things done." But functioning isn't the same as living. When your emotions are muted, when life feels like a series of tasks instead of experiences, that's not normal. That's emotional burnout, stealing your ability to feel alive. Another hidden sign? Cynicism. You know that bitterness you've been carrying lately? That sarcastic edge to your thoughts? That rolling of your eyes at things you used to care about? That's not just a personality change. That's burnout. When your emotional reserves are empty, your brain protects you by detaching. You stop caring, because caring takes too much energy. You start thinking, "What's the point?" more often than you realize. And slowly, that cynicism seeps into your relationships, your work, your dreams, until everything feels meaningless. But burnout doesn't just live in your mind. It shows up in your body too. Think about it. Have you been getting more headaches lately? Stiffness in your shoulders? Stomach issues that seem random? That's not random. That's stress your body has been storing day after day without release. Psychologists call this somatization. When your emotions don't get expressed, they get trapped in your body instead. And the longer you ignore them, the heavier that weight becomes. Now here's the really tricky part. Burnout often looks like success on the outside. Some of the most burned out people you'll ever meet are the ones who appear unstoppable. They hit their deadlines. They show up for everyone. They smile in photos. But deep down, they're running on fumes. And maybe that's you right now. Maybe you've been wearing the mask of "I'm okay" for so long that you've convinced even yourself it's true. But when the mask comes off, when the lights go out, when you're alone, you feel empty. And that emptiness is the echo of burnout. One of the most overlooked signs of burnout is forgetfulness. Losing your keys, forgetting small details, walking into a room and not remembering why. That's not just distraction. When your brain is overwhelmed for too long, your memory starts to falter. Your mind is so busy surviving that it stops storing the little things. So if you've been living in a constant fog, if your focus is slipping even though you're trying harder than ever, that's not laziness. That's a brain under siege. But maybe the most dangerous sign of all is this: the belief that nothing will help. Burnout convinces you that no vacation, no nap, no weekend off can fix how you feel. And you know what? In a way, burnout is right. Because rest alone can't heal burnout. Burnout isn't about sleep. It's about the life you're living. It's about the emotional load you carry every day. And until you deal with that, no amount of rest will feel like enough. Now let's step back and ask, how do we end up here? Why are so many of us quietly drowning in burnout, Psychology gives us an answer: perfectionism, people-pleasing, and chronic overcommitment. We push ourselves because we're afraid of being not enough. We say yes when our hearts scream no. We define our worth by how much we produce instead of who we are. And slowly, we build a life that looks successful on the outside, but feels like a prison on the inside. But here's the twist. Burnout isn't just a breakdown. It's also a breakthrough, if you choose to see it that way. Because burnout is your mind's way of drawing a line in the sand. It's your soul saying, stop. You cannot live like this anymore. And if you listen, burnout can actually be the turning point that forces you to rebuild your life in a healthier way. Think about it. So many people's biggest transformations happen after burnout. They finally learn to set boundaries. They finally learn to say no. They finally stop chasing validation and start choosing peace. And in that moment, they don't just recover, they evolve. But before you can transform, you have to recognize the cycle. Do you dread Mondays not because of the work, but because of the weight it puts on your soul? Do you stay up late scrolling on your phone, not because you're entertained, but because you're avoiding tomorrow? Do you wake up tired, no matter how many hours you sleep? These are not small annoyances. These are symptoms. And every symptom is a message your subconscious is trying to send you. Here's the rehook. What happens if you ignore those messages? Burnout doesn't just stay in your head. It spreads. It strains your relationships, turning you irritable with the people you love. It crushes your ambitions, making you stop caring about goals that once mattered. It wrecks your health, leading to chronic stress, heart problems, even depression. Burnout ignored long enough doesn't just take your energy, it takes your life away from you piece by piece. But here's the hope: you can change it. And the change doesn't start with massive life overhauls, it starts with noticing. By listening to this right now, you've already taken the first step. The second step is daring to believe you deserve better. Because so many people stay in burnout not because they can't escape, but because they think they don't deserve to. They think rest is selfish. They think boundaries are rude. They think slowing down means failure. But here's the truth. Burning out isn't noble. Burning out doesn't make you stronger. What makes you strong is choosing to protect your energy, your heart, and your peace, no matter what anyone else thinks. Now let me reframe this for you. Success isn't about how much you can endure. True success is about how deeply you can live. And you cannot live deeply if you're running on empty. Imagine what your life could feel like if you weren't burned out, if you woke up energized, if you laughed and felt joy in your chest again, if you had space in your heart to be present with the people you love. That's not fantasy. That's what happens when you stop ignoring burnout and start healing. So let me ask you one last time. What if today was your turning point? What if this was the day you finally admitted, I'm burned out, I need to change? Because the longer you wait, the deeper the burnout digs in. But the moment you face it, the healing begins. Burnout isn't weakness, it's not laziness, it's not failure. Burnout is your body and soul begging you to come home to yourself, to stop abandoning your needs, to stop living only for others, to stop running so fast that you forget why you started. Burnout isn't the end of you. It's the beginning of the life you've been too afraid to live. The only question is, will you listen? So here's your call to action. If this message spoke to you, don't just click away and forget it. Hit the like button so more people can see it, share it with someone who might be quietly struggling, and subscribe so you can keep walking this journey with us. Because every week we explore not just burnout, but the deeper truths of psychology, healing, and becoming fully alive. You don't have to face this alone. You are part of a community now, and together, we'll build lives that don't just look good on the outside, but feel good on the inside. Take a deep breath. You've already taken the first step. Now, let's keep walking. One real, honest conversation at a time.